I am just 3 credit cards away from having 100 credit cards in my lifetime. I can't believe it, and I'll be sure to do maybe a live stream or a video showcasing what my 100th credit card is. In the meantime, the focus of the video today has 3 main topics. Number 1 is to talk about what cards I've acquired so far in 2025. Number 2 is to talk about some of the balances that I have with points and miles as of the time of this recording. And then number 3 is to look back. It's been about 3 months in 2025. So just showcasing the trips that I've done thus far, how I've put points and miles to use, because I don't believe in points hoarding. My personal goal is to travel at least 1 time per month. And we'll talk about if I'm on track to hit that goal. I'm Key, a credit card, points and miles enthusiast and travel lover. On my channel, I discuss the mistakes I've made, my future travel goals, and overall credit journey since 2016. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So, first things first. I spoke to my good friend Chad of the Chad's Money Minutes YouTube channel about 2 weeks ago at this point. Really, we had a discussion on my path to 100 credit cards. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. I'll link it up above here just so you can see that video as well. But nevertheless, at the time of that recording, I was 8 credit cards away from hitting 100. Now, I have some good news. I've been on a little bit of an acquisition spree since our conversation, and these are some of the cards that I've picked up. Navy Federal Credit Union Flagship Visa Rewards Credit Card. This card comes with a 50,000 rewards points bonus after I spend $3,500 in the next 90 days. Now, it's important to note that this card does have a $49 annual fee, but with that fee, they'll actually cover your subscription to Amazon Prime. Now, I'm all about having, if I'm already going to pay something, why not pay less? So I'm going to pay $49 to have almost $200 of Amazon Prime covered. That's a deal. I mentioned this will make my second card with Navy Federal. So I plan on, after hitting the sign-up bonus, using the points in their travel portal for either flights or hotels, whatever makes the most sense, or maybe even rental cars as well. In addition, I plan on adding this card when it does come in the mail to my Amazon Prime account and ensuring that it is the default card in my Amazon Prime account. So that way, from this year onward, they'll cover that Amazon Prime membership annual subscription cost. I do have another Navy Federal credit card that I mentioned in my 0 to 50 credit card portfolio video earlier last year. What I plan to do with that card is actually product change it to, they have a green card at Navy Federal. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's the Cash Rewards card. But that card, no annual fee, and they'll actually pay for Walmart Plus. So that's a solid card. And if the Walmart Plus works anything like how the Amazon Prime membership works, this means I can probably start to think about getting rid of my American Express Business Platinum Business Gold credit cards, because those cards do come with a Walmart subscription benefit as well, but for a fee. So that's my plan with Navy Federal. As far as hitting the minimum spending requirement on the flagship rewards card, I actually plan to pay for my full year's worth of annual car insurance there. Now, this is typically the time where I always pay my insurance for that 12-month price just to lock in the lowest possible rate. But also at the same time, I shop around my insurance to see if there is someone that's willing to give me a lower premium amount. So I'll do that shopping around after I pay for my annual on my current plan. And what happens is typically, right, so say I go with company B because they're cheaper, I'll pay for that on a new credit card, hitting a new minimum spending requirement. And then what will happen is the old insurance company, so company A, they'll end up mailing me a check for the prorated amount. So typically this is around 11 months because I'm always able to find a new auto insurance company that's slightly cheaper. The next bank is Chase. So at the time that Chad and I spoke, I was actually 4 and 24 with the Chase 524 rule. I'm not going to cover what that means. Check out other videos I have on the channel or just Google it at this point. But I actually received a special offer just by being in my hometown airport where I could sign up for the Chase Southwest credit card and get 65,000 Southwest Rapid Rewards points after spending only $1,000 in minimum spending. Now, this is different than the publicly available offer on southwest.com or even if you go through Chase. So, my tip here is always take a look around your airport if you're going to be traveling and make sure if there's any special promotions that you're saving those in your browser or taking a screenshot of those as well. So, with this $1,000 minimum spending requirement, I do have, again, another 90 days to hit that minimum spending requirement, and I'll be spending on my quarterly home excise tax. So that's how I'll hit that minimum spending requirement there. Okay. Now, this card would have put me at 524. So actually, right before applying, I actually chose to get another business card with Chase before surpassing the 524 rule. And this card was the IHG One Rewards Premier Business Credit Card. Where are they getting these names? Why are the names getting longer and longer for these credit cards? It's crazy. So I applied for this card first and then waited about 24 hours to apply for the Southwest card that I mentioned. But with IHG, this is a hotel chain that I actually really enjoy, even not being loyal to a hotel chain. I love staying at the Kimpton properties and even some of the Intercontinentals. So I'll receive 140,000 IHG rewards points after I spend $4,000 in minimum spending. This credit card does come with a $99 annual fee, and I'll receive an additional night certificate after my first year of having the card. This will pair nicely with a discontinued IHG card that I also have. So I'll make 2 hotel night certificates that I can use at IHG properties, which I'm very excited about. Last year, I did do a timeshare presentation where I received 85,000 IHG rewards points, but since that time, I've used up all of those points on some trips. So I needed to replenish my balance, and I went with none other than the IHG business credit card. The final 2 cards I got were with a bank you may be familiar with, and people also love to complain about their application process. So the 2 cards I picked up were the Barclays Hawaiian Airlines MasterCard on the personal side. And then I also picked up the Barclays A-Advantage Aviator Red credit card. Both of these cards, in my opinion, have low annual fees in terms of being less than $100. And these are cards that I'll probably continue to hold for a while. So let's talk about them one by one. Starting with the Hawaiian Airlines credit card, I'll pick up 70,000 Hawaiian Airlines miles after spending $1,000 in the next 3 months. Now, Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines do have a partnership, will be becoming one company. So these Hawaiian Airlines miles will also be able to be switched over to Alaska Airline miles as well. Very excited for that. My Alaska account has been very low for the past 6 to 8 months. So I'm excited to have some more Alaska Airlines miles in my account. With the Barclays A-Advantage credit card, this card was also on the personal side. And I'll pick up a bonus of 60,000 A-Advantage miles after spending as little as $1. Or even less than that, right? It's truly based on your first purchase and then paying the annual fee. So typically, I usually hit up the dollar store and grab, something that I need, whether it's birthday cards or otherwise, and that will count as my minimum spending requirement there. So all in all, in the next few months here, I need to spend around $10,000, which unfortunately is doable with this being my heavy expense time with homeowners insurance, auto insurance, as well as my whole life insurance policies as well. With the Barclays application, they pulled TransUnion, and despite applying for these cards pretty much on the same day, I was actually approved for one of the cards automatically, And then the other card I did have to call reconsideration, which I did over the weekend. And I was ultimately approved after asking if I could reallocate some limit from some of the other credit cards that I had with Barclays at the time. I didn't have to fax anything over, but I was asked through, a variety of security questions and things like that to verify my account. All in all, I'm continuing on my streak of, not having the very difficult Barclays application experience that I know some of you will experience. Both of these cards were on the personal side, and both of these cards were applied in pretty much rapid succession of each other. Let me know if I can help you out with any upcoming Barclays applications, but all in all, keep in mind that Barclays is losing the relationship with American Airlines here pretty soon, most likely in 2025. This card will be most likely converted to another card over at Citibank. So this will ultimately end up being with Citibank, and I'm excited. With Citi, unlike other banks, you can product change to any card in their portfolio. So after I have this card for a year, or maybe that rule won't apply since it's switching banks, maybe I'll plan on getting, I know people love the custom cash card. Maybe that's something I acquire after I've gotten rid of it. Or maybe I grab, something else on the Citi side as well, maybe a Costco card or something else. So all things to consider, as I know for sure that this Barclays A Advantage card will definitely become a Citibank credit card. All in all, acquired 5 credit cards in the past 3 months, which brings my 524 count to 824. But to be honest with you guys, I don't care. I have enough Chase points to last me quite a few years based on my current spending. And that's even traveling at least one time per month. So not worried about acquiring any more Chase cards for the long-term future here. All right, so let's transition into a points and miles update. I won't go through every single program and how many points and miles that I have with those. If you are interested in that type of video, definitely let me know, and that's something I could plan to do in the future. Instead, I'll just cover which of my transferable currencies I have the most points with, as well as which transferable currency I have the least amount of points with. And again, my plan to address both of those situations. So starting with the least is built rewards. At this point in time, I have a little under 3,000 built rewards points in my account. As far as my plan to acquire more of them, I do plan on getting the built card later in 2025. However, I'm definitely going to focus on making sure all of my cards are added to the built rewards dining program, and just acquiring spend as I dine locally here. Moving on to my highest balance, and this is with American Express membership rewards points. At this point, I have north of 600,000 American Express membership rewards points, and my plan to use those is truly, I plan on going to Scotland with a group of friends, so I'll plan on purchasing flights, hotels, rental cars, etc., leveraging not only points, but also the travel portal with American Express when it makes sense, because I do actually hold on to the American Express Business Platinum credit card. This is a card that I really enjoy using, the travel portal, because I receive a 35% points rebate on my selected airline or any airline as long as I'm booking business, at least business class in. So I'll definitely put these points to use, and I will definitely whittle this account balance down dramatically this year. Speaking of points and miles, at this point, it's March of 2025. I've actually spent a little under 250,000 points and miles on my adventures so far this year. I've taken 15 flights thus far, and I've done quite a few things. I attended a creator or points and miles meetup in New York City where I actually got to meet some people in real life for the first time. So I won't call you out by name, but super excited. Thank you so much for coming up to me and just sharing that my videos have, definitely helped you. I really appreciated that and the conversations we had at that meetup. Definitely check Reddit, check some of your favorite blogs and podcasts and things like that to see if there are any meetups in your area. Or, this is why we have points and miles, right? Use some of these points and miles like I did to travel to New York or one of these local meetups, because oftentimes you're going to find information you're not going to hear publicly, right? On YouTube, on podcasts, on blogs, really building rapport with people in real life. And they just share, infinite amounts of knowledge and wisdom. So my advice, get to those meetups, put those points and miles to use. In addition, some other things that I've done with points and miles is I actually attended the season opener race of INDYCAR 2025. Which was held in St. Petersburg, Florida. I had the best time. This was my first time attending INDYCAR live after watching it for years on TV. I had such a good time. Um, I had a promotional Southwest Companion Pass, and that's how I actually flew down with myself and some of my friends. The flights for that each way, myself, you have to pay the fees and taxes, but it was $11.20, which I used on my Ritz card for the travel credit for the calendar year credit. And then it was 7,581 points or Southwest Rapid Rewards miles for those flights. So it was buy one, get one free because I had that promotional companion pass that ultimately expired right at the beginning of March. But we put that bad boy to use, and it was good to have that. Coming home, also flew Southwest, $11.20 for two people, and then 11,800 Southwest Rapid Rewards miles. Again, that was for two people because I did have that Southwest Companion Pass promotion. The last thing that I wanted to mention is always check your transferable currencies to see if there's any card member exclusive offers for events and things like that in your area. I'm regularly checking, all of my transferable currencies, but especially Capital One, because when you log into their portal, you can use your venture miles for what they call card member exclusives. These are things like dropping a puck or at a hockey game or being a co-captain at basketball games. But furthermore, right, they even have dining experiences. So a few months ago, I actually attended a James Beard event called Eat America Boston. This event was sponsored by Capital One, and wow, did I have such an amazing time. I was able to purchase tickets using my Capital One Venture Miles, but then also receive some coasters for attending that event. I did check the online, and there are a few more events for this James Beard Eat America type event, but they are sold out with Capital One Venture Miles. You can still purchase tickets with cash and, perhaps you use some cash back that you've earned for credit cards when you go to purchase those tickets. Highly recommend. Definitely always be on the lookout for ways outside of airfare and hotels and things like that for putting use to these points. Absolutely incredible experience. I got to see and taste some of the award-winning restaurants in my area and in the city. Absolutely incredible, and it's just so much art involved with that, and I love it. In addition to having those local eateries showing off their award-winning food, I actually was also discovered what I'm going to call my new favorite tequila brand is Mi Gente. It's female distilled and it's absolutely delicious, and this was because of that event that I attended called James Beard Eat America. This was a distiller that was there, talked about, their process of distilling and sustainability, and I just really loved it. Ended up purchasing some bottles for myself, and wouldn't have did that without points and miles. I definitely wouldn't have discovered some of these restaurants that are now available on Resy, or some of these different items that I can, get built rewards dining points from. So all in all, I know this video is a bit long. Hopefully you learned something new, but cards I obtained and the reason I obtained those, right? As I strive towards 100 credit cards, but also how I'm using points and miles outside of flights, right? Even though I've did 15 flights, that's great, but I'm also using them for local events and finding new establishments as well. What's one way that you're using points and miles by the end of this month? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.